show for those of us who were born a few years ago. Let's show those millennials all the things we know. Being old makes us wise. Sometimes we even go outside. We know about life before 1999. You haven't seen nothing yet if you haven't lived life pre-internet. Listen up, this is stuff you won't want to forget. Midlife Pop Culture Show.
Hello everybody, Mr.G here. Welcome to the Midlife Pop Culture Show. Got a fun show for you today. We're going to talk about classic rock albums in the top 5. So if you want to give us a call at 603-785-0259, you can call up and tell me your favorite 5 albums, see how they compared with the ones that I brought in. I also have a little, I don't know if surprise or not, but I have a song from the artist Ricky Mapleton and the Timekeepers. They are working together on their next album, and I was able to go into the studio with them, and they said I could take this demo and play it and see what kind of reaction we're going to get. And it's all about Led Zeppelin album. But before we get started with that, I would just like to thank a few people that probably don't get thanked enough. The people here at Manchester Television, fantastic people, highlight sometimes of my week and other people's weeks, I'd imagine, that come here and tape. And I want to also say thank you to the people that come tape here. I'm an avid watcher of Channel 23 and fantastic stuff. I don't want to throw out any names, but all of these shows have their merit, and they're very entertaining, very informative. And, of course, my producer, Kyle, who puts up with my crazy ideas every time we come in. So thank you all for that. So let's get on with the Midlife Pop Culture Show. This one's called Top 5 Albums. This song is called, and I'll give you a little background on this song that I'm going to play. It's called Do You Have Any Zeppelin Albums? Recently, I went around and tried to sell my albums that I had. I had a yard sale first, and people had just flew right into my albums. Albums seem to be really on an uptick now as far as popularity, nostalgia. I think the younger people like albums as well. They really have a different sound. It's called white noise. We could talk about that for a little bit as far as that is when the needle hits the album itself. There is a little hum or white noise that you don't get, or some people say you don't get, when you transpose it over to a CD or digital format. It's really noticeable on the song Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. You listen to that on CD or just on digital, and it's very echoey when the chorus is in. I'm just assuming that most people are familiar with the song, but on the song "Carry On My Wayward Son," there's some beautiful harmonies and voices, and parts where nothing is being said for a split second, and that white noise is missing of what you get on an album. It's kind of like a warm noise, or a warm. They call it white noise. Anyways. This song from the band Ricky Mapleton is working with Timekeepers, and the song is called Do You Have Any Zeppelin Albums? So the song was inspired by going and trying to sell albums at the local record stores right now, and let me tell you, when you go in there, they don't want your Harry Belafonte, they don't want your parents' Engelbert Humperdinck, and they don't want the King and I. They want the Zeppelin albums. And I went to a couple different stores, and every time I went in there, they said, "Hey, do you have any Zeppelin albums?" And I didn't. And then they asked me a couple different kinds of albums that I had. We're going to talk about here soon. And it was really just, it made me laugh. It was the inspiration that Ricky Mapleton used for the song. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold up these albums as they go. It's kind of, this song kind of like tells a story of going to record stores and asking for, do you have any Zeppelin albums? Now, this is just a demo of this, but I think it's kind of funny, and I really thought you'd enjoy it. So here we go. Okay, if you play that song right over that, Kyle. record store to sell my albums and make a score. He came on out and he helped me in. Then he asked me with a big grin, he said, do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Grateful Dead? I said, I don't have any of these. So I went to another store. He waved me in and he opened the door. Then he looked at the albums I had, and what he asked me made me real sad. He said, do you have any Zeppelin albums? Sticks or Bad Company? Do you have any Monty Python? I don't have any of these. I was afraid as I drove myself home. Went too fast and got me pulled over. The police took a look in my backseat. Instead of a ticket, hey, do you have any? Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Monty Python? I said, I don't have any of these. So I went to court and saw the judge, told him of my plea. I see you had some albums, son. Do you have any of these? Oh my God! Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Your Honor, I don't have any of these. Guilty as charged. Ty, what do you think of that saga? Could you follow along?
You did a great job on that.
I messed up some of the, let me just go over these real quick. Okay, now while I'm going over these, ladies and gentlemen, write down what order you think these should go in, okay? According to the song, this is an album called In Through the Outdoor, a Led Zeppelin album that was put in a paper bag so you wouldn't see. It was another great marketing ploy and packaging that Led Zeppelin was known for. Inside, you have a picture here, and you have a picture here. Now, a couple unique things about In Through the Outdoor is the first run of In Through the Outdoor, this right here was watercolored. So if you got the first pressing or the first printing, which I did, but this isn't one of them, and you happen to dab it with water or put your fingers on it, you would notice that like the green olive, the glass would be white. Things would turn blue. I noticed it because I had a can on it, a Pepsi can on there, and I lifted it up, and I saw a ring around here. And that was true for both sides. So and also, another little fun fact about In Through the Outdoor is that there are 4 different covers. The covers are the same, but taken at different times during that shoot and different angles, different camera angles. So you never really knew which one you were getting. So I'm sure some people probably have all 4 of them, a real Zeppelin aficionado, if you would. Okay, I have another Zeppelin album here. This one is called Physical Graffiti, a double album, considered one of their best albums. They have many. And if you see it, take it out. Look how much fun you can put it in. The little windows go in. And depending on what size you have and what windows you have going, you can get all sorts of different people that show up throughout this. A great Rush album, Farewell to Kings. One of their earlier albums, I think it was either 4 or 5. A concept album. Fantastic album. Big hit on here, Closer to the Heart. Love it. I love it. Oh, I see actually the phones seem to be ringing. Please call 603-785-0259. We have our first caller, long-time listener. Oh, my God. Englishy, thank you for calling in and playing top 5 albums. Let's put them in order, please.
Englishy, thank you for taking my call on the Midlife Pop Culture Show. Mr. G,
Yes, dear.
I think that the best Led Zeppelin album that you are speaking of would have to be In Through the Outdoor, Mr. G. You know why?
Why?
Ooh, because they have the magnificent song on there called All of My Love, Mr. G.
Yep.
And I must tell you, it reminds me a little bit of somebody that I know, Mr. G. You think you know what I'm saying?
You
So,
flatter
Mr.
me.
G, I would like to put in my vote again for In Through the Outdoor, Mr. G.
Yes.
Oh, a fantastic album, Mr. G. And oh, Mr. G,
Yep.
it was a pleasure once again talking to you. This is Englishies saying good evening and long live Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
And Mr. G.
All right. Thank you, Englishy. Kyle, looks like Englishy we're falling out of the summer of love, maybe going to the fall of love. She mentioned this song in All of My Love. Do we have a little of that to play? Oh, beautiful. This song is on Into the Outdoor. Most of Into the Outdoor was produced by John Paul Jones, the bass player, who is and also a great musician, all-around musician. This is one of their last studio albums, and this song is actually written about the singer Robert Plant's son passing away at a young age. Let's take a listen to this just for a second.
So many hours and days that pass ever soon. The tides of course, the flame to dim. Unless the arm is straight, the hand to the loom. Is this the end or just begin? All of my love, all of my
Beautiful.
love,
Just beautiful.
dear.
That's what's so good about Led Zeppelin. People thought they were heavy metal, Hammer of the Gods, but boy, they had so many beautiful songs, and this was one of them. Thank you, Englishy, for calling in. Oh, we have on line 2, we have Agnes calling in to put in her bid or her vote for best album. Agnes, good to hear from you again. How are you, dear?
It's from the community. Mr. G, you know we're big fans of Mr. G,
Yes.
but we're a little bit concerned once again about your caller Englishy. Dedicating the Led Zeppelin song to you was way out of line. All of My Love has nothing to do with you, with Englishy, and I'm very disappointed once again that Englishy thinks she can just say and do whatever she wants regarding you, Mr. G. Now, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Okay, Mr. G.
Yes.
To getting back to the question at hand.
Thank you.
We here at the community
Yes.
took a poll of the best Led Zeppelin albums that get played here, and we have a lot of vinyl's final, and we want to live a long time, Mr. G. So we're thinking it's physical graffiti is the best Led Zeppelin album, probably in the Led Zeppelin collection.
Interesting.
With songs like Custard Pie, The Rover, In My Time of Dying, Mr.
Wow.
G, Side 2, Houses of the Holy, Trampled Underfoot, Cashmere.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mr. G, we put this music on at Rock and Roll Night, and boy, oh boy, do we just sit back and enjoy Jimmy Page
Yes.
and the rest of the band, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, and of course, my personal favorite, next to you, Mr. G, the singer Robert Plant.
Ah.
Oh, Mr. G, look at side number 3. I hope In the Light, Barnyard Stomp, Down by the Seaside, 10 Years Gone. It's just a virtual hit machine, Mr. G. Side 4, Night Flight, the Wonton Song, Boogie with Stu, and Sick Again, and of course, Black Woman Country. But Mr. G, wow. Unbelievable. We're big fans of Cashmere, but I think it's a little... Anyways, I've talked too much, Mr. G. It's a pleasure talking to you about classic music. And you tell Englishy to mind her P's and Q's, or she might just hear from us here at the community.
Thank you, jeez. Oh, boy. Thank you, Agnes, for calling in. And you know, Agnes and Englishy, we've been going back and forth here, and I think Led Zeppelin would probably want us just to kind of think more spiritually and more mindful thoughts and not so worry so much about one person dedicating a song to you. I dedicate all these songs to all of you, okay? And speaking of that, can we get a close-up on that label? Okay, what we're listening to now is off Physical Graffiti. This is Swan Song. This is Cashmere. Let me do it like a DJ. Hey, here it is. Manchester Public Television. Here's a little Cashmere for ya. We'll take caller 6 to release album at 603-785-0259. Little known fact about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that Led Zeppelin started the Swan Song label. I believe they were on Atlantic for their first 2 or 3 albums. And this, of course, came out after Led Zeppelin 4, with Stairway to Heaven. So they were rolling in cash. And a little quick thing on that, a little ride along with that would be, they signed the band Bad Company as one of their first artists that they were promoting under the label, on the Swan Song label. And let's listen to a little more Cashmere. Okay, Kyle, thank you. That song goes on for about 15, 20 minutes. A fabulous song. Tom Tomulson is calling. Tom, how are you, my good friend?
Thank you, Mr. G.
Yes.
This is Tom Tomulson.
Hello.
Thank you for letting me have on Pick the Albums.
Yes.
That I think is the best.
Yep.
And I, Mr. G, being a man of great intellect, would have to go with the progressive rock super unbelievable band,
Yes.
Rush,
Ooh.
in the album A Farewell to Kings. Now, Mr. G, they are a very intelligent, well-read band.
Yes.
They're the Farewell to Kings, with such songs as A Farewell to Kings, Xanadu, Take Up Side 1, and these masterful works is far superior than any of the other rock bands that you are speaking of today. But of course, they do have their merits.
Thank you.
Side 2 of Farewell to Kings, Closer to the Heart,
Yes.
Cinderella Man,
Wow.
Insignis X1, and I believe you pronounce this Mod Regal, is also appearing on A Farewell to Kings.
Yes.
Now, if I'm correct, Mr. G, as I usually am, thank you very much for having me on your show. And Rush, of course, would be the intellect's choice of great bands.
Wow.
Thank you very much. This is Tom Tomulson, signing off.
Thank you, Tom. Kyle, is it amazing that Agnes knew every song on Physical Graffiti? Tom knew all the songs on Farewell to Kings? Wow.
It's impressive. They know their stuff.
Wow. Incredible. Oh, okay, we have another caller coming in. Willie, how are you, my friend? Willie, are you there, buddy?
Crazy Willie, man. But I'm just going by Willie now, since
Good.
Mr. G got me on the right track, getting me back, went back to school. I ain't no fool, now I got a job, I ain't no slob. Just call me Willie. Wow. Mr. G, let me focus, Mr. G.
Yes.
I think the band that sticks out among the band that sticks out
Yes.
from your selection would have to be the Grateful Dead.
Ooh.
The first
No
time I
surprise
saw
from
the
you,
Dead,
Willie, I
I
don't
went,
think.
Wow. It was just
Easy, Willie, easy.
unbelievable.
You still
The
there, Willie?
album that I would choose would not be a typical pick for a Deadhead, if you would. I'm going with Touch of Grey, man.
Yep.
Because that had a breakthrough song on there called Touch of Grey.
Yep.
And when the mainstream people heard it, they went, wow! And the Grateful Dead become more of our household name. Alright, Mr. G, it's a pleasure talking to you. I gotta get some sleep, I gotta get up, I gotta get back to school, I gotta work after. I ain't no fool. This is rare for the midnight pop culture, so baby, keep it real, keep it fresh.
You got a little Grateful Dead to play?
Clocks are running late. Ain't light up the morning sky. Looks so phony. Dawn is breaking every
This is the song Touch of Grey
candle curse the
off this album. Super big hit.
curtains. I don't care.
A little how we doing on time, pal?
It's alright.
Okay. Little background music on, little background information on the Grateful Dead. There's a lot. I don't consider myself a Deadhead. I was lucky enough to see him 6 or 7 times over a long period of time. And of course, they're known for their jam bands. And when this album came out, a lot of the truer Deadhead, if you would, or someone that liked the Grateful Dead, weren't at first really happy with this album because it had, if you would, radio-friendly songs. I think Touch of Grey is probably 5 or 6 minutes long. Of course, if you saw them in concert, that would probably turn into a 15 to 20-minute song. But just a great album. Touch of Grey, Hell in a Bucket, just great stuff. Great stuff at all. I mean, just fantastic. And the Grateful Dead are just a fantastic band. All these bands are fantastic. You're fantastic. Listening to music is fantastic. Why don't we end this fabulous program by listening to that song again called, that Ricky Mapleton song and Timekeeper's song. It's a demo. So this is going to be coming out soon. Right now, if you check out some Ricky Mapleton on Spotify, and the Timekeepers is a local band that did a song for every 5 minutes, if you can believe that. And they also did a song, that's 288 songs. They did a song for every day of the year as well. So pick a time, pick a day, and they have that. And Ricky Mapleton has songs. Their biggest hit to date is a song called "Life Is Like a Pancake," which is a fantastic song. And all Ricky Mapleton songs are really upbeat and happy. I'm upbeat and happy. I'm going to try to follow this along again on this song. I'll probably mess it up. Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush. I know the song goes now. Rush or Bad Company. Do you have any Grateful Dead? I said, here we go. And enjoy at home. I'm going to make them dance.
I went to the record store
Painful experience.
to sell my albums and make a score.
Sounds easy.
He came on out and he helped me in.
Yes, he did.
Then he asked me with a big grin, he said, do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Grateful Dead? I said, I don't have any of these. So I went to another store. He waved me in and he opened the door. Then he looked at the albums I had, and what he asked me made me real sad. He said, do you have any Zeppelin albums? Styx or Bad Company?
This is Styx album.
Do you have any Monty Python? I don't have any of these. I was afraid as I drove myself home. Went too fast and got me pulled over. The police took a look in my backseat. Instead of a ticket, hey, do you have any? Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Monty Python? I said, I don't have any of these. So I went to court and saw the judge, told him of my plea. I see you had some albums, son. Do you have any of these? Oh my God! Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Rush or Bad Company? Do you have any Zeppelin albums? Your Honor, I don't have any of these.
Guilty as charged.
Whoa. That wasn't too bad. I kind of caught them all. Couple mess ups. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Let's talk about this album for a second. This is called Monty. I'm a big Monty Python fan. Monty Python albums always have something interesting in it. This one is called a matching tie and handkerchief. And it's very funny, but the amazing thing about this album, ladies and gentlemen, are the grooves inside this album. The grooves themselves. There is 2 sets of grooves for the entire each side. So for instance, if that needle touches, if I started at the beginning, it's going to run a particular track, if you would. Then if I put it on, kind of like place it somewhere else, eventually there's 2 tracks playing the entire album, or 2 grooves, 2 separate grooves for 2 separate albums. The information on it, or what gets played, is very, very similar. One is like take 1, one would be like take 2. So there's small nuances that you will pick up as you listen to this album. And if you put it on once and then you put it on again and just start at a little bit different spot, you're going to be like, wow, that sounds the same, but it's different. And I think that's bizarre. Don't forget about the Led Zeppelin thing. Try to find one with the watercolors in there. My name's Mr.G. This has been the Midlife Pop Culture Show. I want to thank my wife, my friends, my everybody, the people here that make shows here. It's just great times. I hope you really enjoyed this Midlife Pop Culture Show. Call me at 603-785-0259. Tell me what you think, why you think, and vice versa. Thank you all for watching. Mr. G, have a great night.
It's a midlife pop culture show for those of us who were born a few years ago. Let's show those millennials all the things we know. Being old makes us wise. Sometimes we even go outside. We know about life before 1999. You haven't seen nothing yet if you haven't lived life pre-internet. Listen up, this is stuff you won't want to forget. Midlife Pop Culture Show.